What's going on, guys? So into this morning's video, I wanted to open a package with you guys. Let's see who this is from. So this is from shelterinperfume. If you like experiencing a fragrance unencumbered by expectation, open this last. Love, 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 Emily. More than just a pretty scent, and their Etsy information at the bottom. Okay, adds a little mystery. And there is a note attached. Hey man, please enjoy these decants of Heart Spark and Extra. Also a 5 ml of Sogni de Vetiver. Note breakdown inside, enclosed. Take good care. Talk soon, Emily. Like I said, it's always heartwarming to get like a handwritten note in your packages, man. That's always cool. So we have a couple of samplers here. This is Heart Spark and Extra. We also have the 5 ml of Sogni de Vetiver. So I want to assume that these are the note breakdowns, so we'll open these last to see if we can experience these fragrances on their own and get a good idea of what's happening. We're going to start off with Extra. We'll actually take this bracelet off. We'll spray right here. Okay, so what I get when I smell this, I get like zero freshness. It comes in really full, comes in really dense. It's not sharp in any way. It has a little bit of a spice. Whatever it is, when it hits the nose, it's gonna feel it. It's really full, dense. It's got like a little bit of warmth to it. It's like this slight woody vetiver kind of a vibe happening. It's creamy. It's hard to explain. It's loud, but it's quiet. It's got like this slight peppery kind of vibe. I don't want to say cinnamon. It could be from the wood, this woody sort of a presence that it has. I'm getting like this peppery kind of woody vibe, vetiver sort of a vibe. It's like a slight creaminess here as well. I don't want to blame that on vanilla right away, but it's possible. Extremely natural. There's a floral sort of a vibe happening as well, but it's nothing real loud. That woody peppery vibe and a smooth, deep creaminess that accompanies it, that's what I'm getting the most of. It's almost nutty in a way. Slightly resinous, peppery, creamy, smooth, dense, has a slight sweetness. Get something that almost, is that a tonka bean? I wonder, is that what it is? Like a slight sweet, almost almond kind of a vibe. Kind of peppery, a little bit of a sweetness. I wonder, is it a tonka bean? Could be. That could be a thing. I'll take a gamble and say I'm fooling with jasmine. It smells really interesting. I don't know where I would wear this to though. Of course, with how deep and how dense it's smelling, I would imagine a date night. It's like a little bit of an airiness in the background as well. It has this ability to be dense and full, but still kind of light and creamy. Has a little bit of a spice in there. It's not too much. It's not really sharp. So that's why I want to blame it on that tonka bean for that. With like this sort of slight spiced, slight sweet, and slight resinous kind of a vibe. Almond can kind of give off somewhat of an almond-like vibe sometimes. Not too sure. We'll check this out though and see what we get. Like I said, we get a woody, floral, peppery, creamy, slightly sweet, and airy fragrance. I like that. This here, Heart Spark. This is her recent collaboration with City Rhythm, and this one I'm really excited about. I heard this has been making a lot of headwaves. It's been doing pretty good. It's been selling out, so I'm glad to get my hands on a sample of this. And we'll try that one right here. I love that warm aspect that this has. It's like this smoke, like this slight smoldering warm, but light aspect that comes in right in the beginning. This kind of reminds me of Golden Sand, the way it comes out. There's some sweetness going on. There's like this smoldering warm aspect to it. There's a quick tanginess that's happening in there as well. I'm trying to figure out what that sweetness is. but it disappears pretty quickly. And then what you get is that sort of warm, smoldering, slight sweet, slight tangy. I'm trying to catch it, but it's hard for me to catch. Something happening in here. It almost comes off like a red apple. Red apple, maybe a slight citrus, but the tanginess isn't real loud. It gives me that sticky fruit vibe almost as well. Like sometimes you'll catch some like a fig or a date or dried fruit note in some fragrances, and it kind of gives me that vibe slightly. It's weird because it comes off and it'll almost appear like a cotton candy kind of a sweetness, but it's not dry enough. It's not as high pitched, and there's a slight freshness to it that hits, and it reminds you of a red apple with some of that sweetness and then that freshness. But you kind of get like a vibe like it could be a really just chill citrus in there at the top, and then it sort of warms up. That sweetness and all that crisp freshness sort of comes down immediately, and then it warms up and you get this almost like an amber vibe that kind of comes in and engulfs everything in this slightly warm, slightly smoldery sort of presentation. You get what appears to seem like a wood. Something comes in that appears to be woody, appears to have a little bit of a resinous vibe. There's a little bit of a sweetness that remains, but not much. Here's a fragrance that I have called Golden Sand. And that vibe in the end is what reminds me of this. It's that smoldering, woody, I want to say resinous, but that may not be the right term. Some resinous scents can come off a little sharp, a little high pitched, and this one isn't sharp at all. It's very just round in the way it's presented. It has like this just sort of encompassing warm sort of a vibe. If you could imagine how someone would depict the sun to smell in the fragrance, that's that quality at the towards the dry down. You get like this really warm sun and sand beach kind of a vibe. Got a little bit of creaminess that comes up. Going back to the other fragrance, the Extra, there's a beautiful deep and bold floral that comes up. That is gorgeous, yo. Very soft and dark. Smooth with a slight sweetness going on. Beautifully done. There is like this powdery, pretty perfumey, almost sweetness. It's something in there that is sweet, and I can't place where it's coming from. Maybe like I said, what appeared to be a red apple in the beginning, maybe it didn't slid its way to the dry down. Well, like I said, overall the profile that I get is this resinous or just warm, sort of enveloping, almost woody vibe. Really beautiful. This one is easily a date night fragrance as well. I love her creations, and this collaboration right here it's a good one. Like a little bit of a spiciness in there as well, but just very little, very little. Like I said, man, I love her fragrances. They always kind of erase your expectations and give you something very different, have a little bit of antiquity to it. I love her approach to making fragrances. It's good stuff. And this one here, this is our 5 ml. This is Sonny de Verber. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Get your atomizer on this, and we'll come right here. Really bright, earthy. There's something sparkly and medicinal that hit me in the beginning, almost like a spearmint or something like that. It's really bright, really fresh. It's earthy. It got some really bright and sharp elements to it. Now I remember a few of the notes that was given for this one. I want to say antique silver. I want to say cannabis was presented. Maybe bergamot. I remember I gave my depiction on it when I first heard the title, and I called it Accolade. I mentioned the cannabis as recreational. I mentioned the elite sort of antiquity of the antique silver. It's bright, uplifting, refreshing, almost minty. It's earthy. Not sure if I'm catching a patchouli or not, with that's giving me that earthy and minty vibe. It's deep. It has a little bit of a sweetness in there as well. That's actually really pleasant. This is really good. There's a slight woodiness in here as well. Smelling this fragrance reminds me of this fragrance, but it reminds me of this if this was fresh. If this was had a fresh and minty component to it, that's what this reminds me of. There's something in here, it's like a almost green, like a green and peppery kind of a vibe. Really nice and refreshing. Like I said, overall, I get what appears to feel like a green, minty, earthy, deep, slightly woody, clean, refreshing, slightly creamy, and just with a hint of sweetness type of a fragrance. So let's check this out. I'm assuming that this is the note layouts for everything. So this is a note breakdown of all of her fragrances: Sir, Ale, In the Vineyard, and Extra. So with Extra, you're getting bergamot, cinnamon, clove, carnation, ylang ylang, jasmine, honey, coconut, sandalwood, and smoky woods. Okay. Inspired by someone with a personality like a spicy flower, a little sassy, a lot of sweet, and ridiculously fabulous. Extra as in high maintenance and dramatic in only the best way possible. But also extra, as in more than what's on the surface. Someone who's accomplished things the rest of the world may not see. This sweet, spicy, resinous white floral is designed to recall a very special day of celebration. The richest colors as far as you can see, and the pure warmth of loving kindness wrapped around you. You have everything you need and nothing you don't. Okay. And it's doing all of that. It's doing everything that I'm picking up on. I pick it up on that woody presence, that spice that we were talking about earlier. We mentioned that it could possibly be a cinnamon, but we weren't sure. But we kept making hints at an almond, not almond, but tonka bean. We kept making hints at tonka bean, but it was actually the cinnamon that we were catching. There's clove in there as well that's doing that. Carnation, ylang ylang, and jasmine is adding to that floral component. Like I said, I came back to it and I was getting like this deep floral sort of a vibe that was happening. You got honey and coconut for some of the sweetness, which honestly it isn't a lot of. There's not a lot of sweetness happening in here. It's a little bit, but it's not a lot. Sandalwood and smoky woods. And you get a very nice, well-composed wood note in here. That's real well done. I like that. Love this note card here as well. Very sort of antique sort of design with it. And it's just a description of the fragrance. It says, in January 2022, I looked to Instagram fragrance community for help naming this limited edition perfume. I thought Sogni de Vetiver, suggested by House of Darling Perfume, perfectly captured the vibe of this airy, aromatic, earthy scent with its notes of bergamot, grapefruit, ylang ylang, rose, antique silver, vetiver root, sandalwood, as well as tobacco leaf. I could have sworn I thought it was cannabis that was supposed to be in here as well, but I could be off. Smoke fills the room and a haziness is created. You don't know if you're suspended in reality or if it's just a dream. You smell floral notes and follow the trail. You're in the middle of a garden with coffee and a tea for two. Citrus is cut and expressed in your tea, bitter and fresh. You smell the earth being crunched under your shoes. You feel a memory that manifests into a presence. Who is coming to join you? Who are you dreaming of? The creamy sandalwood envelops you and creates a cocoon of love. As smoke fades, it is you staring back in a plated mirror. You are on a journey of self-love and discovery. Your dreams manifesting into reality. And that is Sogni de Vetiver. Very beautifully done scent. Like I said, I get fresh, peppery, spicy, earthy. I get a slightly resonance. I get a very full, woody, earthy sort of a vibe. Something that almost comes off like a patchouli. And I get that grapefruit. I get that depiction now. And it almost comes off like a bitter grapefruit. Almost like a grapefruit rind. And these are all beautifully done. I will drop the link in the description where you can check out her Etsy shop. You can check out City Rhythm shop, where you can also locate the fragrance Heart Spark, which is their collaboration. Everything smells amazing. My favorite out of these, I love that warm and resinous sort of a vibe, that warm enveloping aspect to that Heart Spark. I love the way that that smells, and I love that dense floral aspect to Extra. To be perfectly honest, this one smells a bit more masculine than I was expecting, especially from the description. Extra, to me, it leans a bit more masculine. It's probably like a really masculine floral, in my opinion. Just a slight creaminess, a slight sweetness, a little bit of a peppery vibe going on there. As I said, I will drop the link in the description. Emily, thank you for sending these over for me to check out. I truly appreciate it. And these are well done. Niles, excellent job on that collaboration, my guy. You guys did a wonderful job. And that is it for this video, you guys. Like, comment, share, subscribe. And I will see you guys soon. Peace.